Morning, lovely viewer. Well, as you can probably tell, we are not in my garden today. We are in somebody else's garden, and that somebody else I will talk about at the end of this video. But we're here today to create a new rose bed. All the way down here, these are all new roses, all the way down there, and then coming back behind there. So it's going to actually be a few rose beds. But that's what we're going to create, and we're going to use the no dig method. But first of all, I want to talk to you about sunshine. Direct sunlight. In June time, the sun, it rises just over here in front of the house, and it goes all the way over in that direction. So we get fantastic sun, morning, afternoon, and into the evening sun in this front garden. Fantastic direct sunlight. Later on in the year, the sun, it goes that way a little bit, but it still goes over, and it casts a bit of a shadow down here. But that's fine, because that's going to be the pathway. Right, the roses that we've got, I'm going to introduce them very quickly, but I don't want to talk about them too much. But I will say that these are my favourite roses. Some of them are mine. We've acquired some, but they are my favourite roses. Now, the lady who lives in this house, she does like a fragrant rose. Therefore, the majority of these roses are very fragrant. So, Eustacia Vi, Rosemary Harkness, Fragrant Cloud, Julia Child, aka Absolutely Fabulous, Chandos Beauty. These two roses here, they're David Austin roses. I don't know too much about them, but Gardener Ben, he is a David Austin man. He has only David Austin roses in his garden, and these are, for this year at least, his two favourite roses. We have got Mill on the Floss, and we have got Silas Marner. This rose here is Emily Bronte. This rose here is courtesy of Darren. It is Twice in a Blue Moon. I don't know what this rose is like, but I know it's very fragrant, and I know that he has said it is amongst his favourites. So I thought I'd give this one a go. We have got Gabriel Oak, Rose Eden, Timeless Pink, Diane Boyd, Boscobel. These two roses here didn't do particularly well in my garden as yet, but we're trying them here to see how they get on. We've got First Crush and Delightful Parfumer. This rose here is Olivia Rose Austin. And over here we've got Fruity Parfumer, Spicy Parfumer, Sweet Revelation, and this one here is Princess Alexandra of Kent. So we've got a good mixture of David Austin roses, Cordes roses, Harkness roses, Mayon roses as well. Fantastic collection. In my humble opinion, I have all of these roses apart from the ones I've mentioned, and I'm vouching for all of them already, even though some of them are very, very new. Right, no dig. A no dig garden bed. Creating a no dig garden bed. There are many videos on YouTube, but there is a guy by the name of Charles Dowding. He is the expert, if you like. If you don't know what it is, I suggest you check out his video, because he explains it far better than I. He has his own channel and he's got many videos. I suggest you check his out. But ultimately, the idea is, with regards to no dig, is you have a patch of your garden. It could be grass, it could be weeds, it could be anything, and you simply place a layer of cardboard over the top. And the idea is that layer of cardboard, it will starve whatever is underneath of light, and whatever is underneath will die because it's starved of light. You place down a layer of cardboard, and then you place down a layer of mulch on top of the cardboard, 3 or 4 inches high. And the idea is that once the grass or weeds or whatever was underneath has died, you will have bare soil there. Once that happens, the cardboard, it starts to decompose and it goes into the soil, feeding the soil. And the mulch, the compost that you've stacked up on top of the cardboard, that also starts to sink into the soil, feeding the soil. And there's no need to dig at all. And that suits me down to the ground, excuse the pun, because I haven't got an awful lot of time to dig these flower beds out. I haven't got time to get rid of the topsoil, to get rid of the turf. You can't put those wastes into your garden recycling bins. So everything about this no dig thing, it suits me in creating this new rose bed. Now the problem that I have got is that in all of the no dig videos that I have seen, all of them were to do with creating vegetable beds or flower beds. None of them were to do with creating a rose bed. Now what they say with regards to vegetables or flowers is the same principle. You put down the layer of cardboard, you then put down your layer of mulch on top, and then you plant your flowers direct into the mulch, or your bulbs, you just put them direct into the mulch. Now obviously the problem we have is I'm going to be planting roses, and very early on the problem that I envisaged was wind rock or root rock. You know, the compost, the mulch is very sort of loose, is not particularly stable, so I did envisage this problem. So I've had to think about it, and I've come up with this idea so far. And that is I've got a fork and a spade that was just as wide as the pot, and I've dug down a hole using the spade, and I've got a nice snug fit. Now I haven't gone all the way down. Obviously the pot is not going to be planted like this. I'm going to take the plastic out and put the root ball in, but I've got the hole pretty snug. There was a bit of a gap here and there was a bit of a gap here, so I've kind of fed a mixture of John Innes number 3 and compost. I've fed it not too tightly, but I've fed it in there to get that sort of snug fit, and that's why I've left the pot there. So when I take this pot out, I should be left with a nice snug hole, and hopefully that will kind of do away with much, at least, of the wind rock. That's the plan. Now I have left a gap. Can you see here the soil line inside the pot is probably up to there, and you see I've left it maybe an inch shallow of the soil. But you have to remember the cardboard is going to get slid in here, and then the mulch is going to go on top, and with four or so inches of mulch on top of here. This here will probably be a bit of a crater, and I'll have the mulch going in here. I'll probably up level with the bud union. Now with regards to planting roses, I've seen many different things from the different rose experts on YouTube, at least. There was a lady, I saw her, she planted a rose. It was a cutting, and she dug a hole 2 foot deep by 2 foot wide. She filled it with compost, and then she stuck it in, and that's what she does. David Austin themselves, they will tell you to dig a hole twice the size of the pot, stick the rose in, then fill it in after that. But I like what Jason from Fraser Valley Farms does, and I've been doing what he does for the last year, and I've been doing that because I liked his explanation. And what he says is to dig a hole that is just big enough for the root ball to fit in. And his explanation for that is he likes to see the roots break into the native soil and fight in search of nutrients. He likes to see them work by breaking out and searching for that goodness from the native soil. And if you mulch, they will find that goodness whilst they expand. The problem is, if you plant in compost, he says that the roots are not so inclined to go in search, to expand out, because they're happy where they are. They're getting their goodness, and there's less of a incentive for them to break out and go hunting. So I like that, and I've been doing this for the last year, having that sort of snug fit, and I have to say I've had very good results from it. Now when Jason plants, he plants obviously all the way down. He will get the bud union probably level. I think he gets it level with the surface of the soil, but because I'm going to be building up I'm leaving just this little bit of a gap here. Now, I don't know if that is right, but I haven't seen any videos or read anything which suggests otherwise. But I did want something firm to hold it tight, whilst the mulch around it over time will sink down and start to feed the soil, and in turn feed the rows. Now, I did have a crowbar here somewhere. Even though it is snug around the sides, I did have a crowbar, like a long metal spike, and I've loosened the bottom of the hole. Here it is here. I've loosened the bottom of the hole with this spike, so it's snug all the way round, and then at the bottom of the hole I've loosened it up so the roots can have a bit of an easy job driving down to find that liquid. But that is what we have. I'm going to break this video up into 2 parts. I have got mulch arriving hopefully in the next few days. I have ordered some. I spoke to a company, and what they're delivering for me is a bulk delivery of, it's a mixture of mulch and compost. I spoke to them about no dig, and in terms of no dig, they recommended this stuff that I'm buying. It's going to come in, so the first thing is I've got to get these holes dug. I've done one today. That's all I could do today, but I'm hoping in the next 3 or 4 days I'm going to get all of these holes dug. I would like a drill actually, because you do get these drill bits that are this big exactly, and that would be a good way of doing the circular pots. But this is what we're going to do. The pots are going to be moved around a bit. I don't know what roses are going to go where. The spacing is going to be better. This here is going to have to go somewhere, as is Twice in a Blue Moon. We're going to have to find a space for that. But that is where the bed's going to go, and we're going to do it over the next week. And I'm hoping come 7 days, certainly 10 days from now, this is all going to be done. But this is it. This is a no dig, creating a rose bed from no dig. And if you're an expert, if you have any pointers, if you've done this before, planting roses from no dig, then please do let me know if you have any pointers, because that would be very much appreciated. But lovely viewer, I will see you in part 2, and I'm going to leave you with Eustacia Vi. Lovely fragrance. Right, lovely viewer, I hope you have a lovely day.